Okay, I'd like to introduce Penny to you. The workshop that Penny will be running for us today is titled Identifying the Priorities of Australia's Working and Sporting Dog Industry Stakeholders. So that's the opportunity for everybody to speak. If you remain quiet, you don't get to have any results from what you're thinking. So Penny will be facilitating, but just to give you a little bit of background about her, she grew up in country New South Wales in a household that was never entirely free of dog hair. So there's a good history there. She's worked in a number of industries including telecommunications, banking and finance, manufacturing and defence, and until recently was the Research Support Manager in the Faculty of Science at the University of Sydney. She's very excited to be part of the inaugural Working Dog Alliance conference and looks forward to working with this important and exciting group. Welcome, Penny.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mia. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, everybody, for inviting me to your fabulous conference. Oh, is that more flattering? Thank you so much. I wrote mood lighting into my contract. You can. I'm sort of the Mariah Carey of the university world at the moment. So there's only white flowers in my dressing room, only green M&Ms, and I've insisted on the mood lighting. It's so much more flattering. So I'm just going to be facilitating a session, which means I'm not talking very much, which is a big challenge for me. You've probably already worked that out. But let me just tell you very briefly what we're going to do and explain who this dog is. This was our family dog, Holly, golden retriever. She's pictured with her lifelong companion, purple squeaky dinosaur. She was absolutely not a working dog. She was not very clever. She was not very brave. On one memorable occasion in the park, she came off second best against a chihuahua. But she was a really great networker. She had an amazing social network. And when she died at the ripe old age of 13, you know, there was a massive community of people who were mourning for this dog. You know, my parents had visitors and people were crying and there was flowers and cards and it made me think, you know, when I was preparing for this conference, how embedded dogs are in our lives. You know, we probably more than any other animal, not only on the companion side, obviously, but on the working side, they touch so many aspects of what we do. So the challenge for this session is to understand what is important for the people who are involved in all these amazingly diverse aspects of dogs and people and how they work together. So that's what we're actually going to do. We're going to hear from you about what's important to you. So it's absolutely time for you to have a chat. I'm sure you've done a lot of sitting and listening, but now is your time to have your say. So what we're going to do in a minute, but not quite yet, is we're going to break into smaller groups and we're going to brainstorm some answers to a few questions. So this is really an opportunity to understand, I suppose, or to map some of the priorities and concerns and issues for all the diverse industries that are represented in this room. And I suppose also for the researchers in the room to start hearing some questions. You know, as David said, researchers need to start with a question. Sometimes they come up with a question, but sometimes it's great if they can work in partnership with someone who's got a burning question. It's also a really great opportunity to have our say about what we'd like to see in next year's conference. So if there's a group you'd like to see, a question you'd like answered, an issue you'd like addressed, this is the chance to have that as well. So these are the questions we're going to talk about. We're going to put our clever looking glasses on and we're going to think about these questions. So what topics or issues would we like to see at next year's conference? What questions should researchers be trying to answer? And what policies, laws or practices need to change? So we actually just want to get these down on paper. We're not going to try and answer those questions. And that's the temptation I would like everybody to resist. Obviously, if it's a burning question, then we feel very strongly about it. And so the challenge will be not to go into the groups and talk fiercely about what's going on, but just to remember we're just going to document them. So how we're going to do it is we're going to break into 5 discussion groups. Each group will have a team leader and a scribe. And then we're going to, so we're going to have about 20 minutes off in our groups, and then we need to come back. Each group can then present what they've come up with back to the larger group. And then as a group, we'll vote, you know, on what's important. So the way that we're going to vote is over drinks, because I think that that is the best way to have a democratic process. All that problem that's gone on in WA recently, if only they'd let people have a drink in their hand, they could have solved this problem. So this is why in all our packs we have little sticky dots. Have you got a little strip of... Oh! Has everybody been using them as like earrings or facial tattoos? That was not good. So you need to find your sticky dots, but don't use them yet. We'll need them for drinks, but just make sure they're around. They might be the same colour. It doesn't really matter about colour. It's just more to get a heat map, if you like. So the other thing that we all need... Oh, look, it's exciting about the dots. Back to me. Back to me. This is such a great group. They get excited about getting free dots. This is adorable. Oh. I thought times were tough at the university, but you lot are fantastic. The other thing that we're going to need are the little pictures of the dogs that we got coming back from the break. Everybody find your picture of your dog? Yep. Everybody? Who doesn't have a picture of a dog? Okay, elves. Professor McGreevy is now handing out dog pictures. Thanks so much. All right. Now, there was a little bit of political bias going on when we were handing them out. People were trying to trade off for their favourite kind of dog. Can I just say, this is just a way of splitting people into groups. You do not need to carry on the characteristics of your dog. The dog pictures are also very limited by Microsoft ClipArt's choice of recognisable breeds. So these are the groups that we've got. So you're either going to be Team German Shepherd, Team Goldie, Team Collie, Team Kelpie, or Team Scruffy Dog in Hat, because I ran out of really good pictures. So, hands up, Team Shepherd. Lovely. Hands up, Team Goldie. Fabulous. Hands up, Team Collie. Lovely. Team Kelpie. And Team Scruffy Dog in Hat. Fabulous. Now let me tell you where you're going to be. So as I said, everybody will have a team leader and a scribe. And then what we need to do as a group is elect a spokesmodel, and the spokesmodel will be presenting our ideas back to the larger group. So if you've always wanted to host a reality TV show, this is your big chance to audition. There are talent scouts in the audience. Okay, hand up Team Shepherd again. Lovely. Your team leader will be the lovely Mia, and your scribe is Alyssa. I've lost Alyssa. I found Alyssa. And you're going to be lecture theatre up the front in a second when we move, but not quite yet. Team Goldie, where are we? Fantastic. You'll be up the back of the lecture theatre with Nick as your team leader and Jono as your scribe. There's lovely Jono. Team Collie. Excellent. Your team leader is Kate. Where's Kate? There's Kate. And your scribe is the lovely Melissa, down the front. And you will be in the palfrey room, so if you sort of meet at the top of the stairs, they'll show you where that is. Team Kelpie. Fabulous. Your team leader is the very lovely Professor McGreevy, and your scribe is Liz. There's Liz. And you'll be in the foyer space up the top on level 2. Team Scruffy Dog in Hat. Fantastic. Excellent. Your team leader is the very lovely Tammy, and your scribe is the very fabulous Diane. There's Diane. And what I'd like the groups to do, we only have 20 minutes, but can you please take 1 minute just to quickly run around the group and introduce ourselves so we get a feel for who's who and where they're from. We don't need life stories, we don't have time, but sort of name and where you're from. So we're going to go away, we're going to brainstorm, we're going to come back, we're going to present, and then we're going to get a drink and vote. We happy? Off we go.